안녕하세요. Here we go. I thought you were counting. Let's start again. Sorry. 안녕하세요. My name's Jack New. I'm a chef here in Sydney. I run my own consultancy company, working across a lot of different types of restaurants, from bars to fine dining to cafes to everything. I've worked a lot of fine dining, like Icebergs, Sokyo. I've run my own cafes such as Edition, Darlinghurst, and now I mainly focus on opening or relaunching new restaurants. Today we'll be doing a dish from a bar I'm running up in Crow's Nest, which is in the north of Sydney. It's a kind of a take on Kingfish Ceviche with grapefruit, smoked buttermilk, a little bit of roe from the Yarra Valley, and some little crispy potato bits on the side. First job, we're probably going to make a few little potato crisps just in the deep fry so they can dry out whilst we're making the rest of the dish. Pretty simple. We actually keep the skin on for this one, and just gonna slice it up and then fry it. Should be enough for one dish. A little closer look. Trying to keep them all flat. This has all started to change color. That's still a little bit raw in the center there. So we'll just keep going until that's all the same color there. Here. Just gonna spread these out so it'll dry out nicely. And just a little bit of sea salt. And we're just going to leave these up here where it's warm so they can keep drying. Here we've got a piece of charcoal heating up. This one's going to go straight into here. Make sure you get as much surface area on there as possible. We're just going to let that sit for about 10 minutes whilst we do the rest of the dish, and that'll get a really intense kind of almost robata flavored dressing for it, which is kind of cool. I started off, seared kingfish is very popular in Australia, so I guess this was just my way of taking the sear from the kingfish and moving it to a different component of the same dish. So you kind of have that familiarity of seared kingfish, but it's just a little bit more unique. Just gonna set this one over here and then we'll strain that off later. Next, we're just going to very simply clean up and segment a grapefruit.
What's a segment?
Segment, so going in between all of the little membrane bits there to get nice little wedges of citrus. For this, for segmenting, go down on one side and then you can kind of gently nudge it out and it'll naturally come out. You don't need to cut both sides there. we probably only need about 5 or 6 segments for this dish. And then you want to keep all the juice as well, so after you have all of this bit, there's still little bits of grapefruit in there, which we are going to squeeze the juice out of. Because ceviche, which is what we're doing today, like a kingfish ceviche, means cooked in citrus. And we're going to use all this citrus juice to essentially cook the kingfish.
Cool.
Right, so it's our Piramussel kingfish. Kingfish is super popular in Australia.
Yep.
We can farm it here, and it's some of the best farmed kingfish in the world, which means its quality is very consistent, as well as being at a very, very good price, pretty much all year round.
Cool.
For ceviche, we're using the tail end today. I've already skinned this one. Basically, it's a great way to use up, I guess, the less premium part of the kingfish without having any wastage, because you can just cut it very thin and you don't have to throw anything away. So we're just going to do this sashimi style. Don't want to go too thin on this, or else it won't have any body when we plate the dish, and it'll just fall over. So next we're going to strain off our buttermilk.
Yep.
Little bits of charcoal are going to stay in there,
Yep.
Which is kind of what we want. Yeah, a lot of people use smoke machines or vacuums or liquid smoke.
Yep.
Or liquid essence, smoke essence. But this is honestly, out of all the ways I've tried, the best and also the easiest way to do it. So that's how we do it now. All right. Lastly, we have a little bit of Yarra Valley roe. So Yarra Valley is one of, I guess, the best areas for produce in Australia. This little salmon roe. And we're just going to add a little kind of pop of texture, I guess. All right. We will start assembling the dish.
Cool.
All right.
Avengers assemble this. Okay.
Firstly, we'll put all of our fish in here. Make sure we season up all fish. Then we're going to put our grapefruit as well as grapefruit juice in here, because obviously that juice needs time to start cooking the kingfish. Then a little bit of our smoked buttermilk, not too much. And that's kind of forming all of its own sauce in there. And then just quite a bit of black pepper. And we want to give it a few seconds to kind of get that grapefruit juice to combine with the buttermilk, and then cook all of the kingfish. Put our crispy potatoes. wrap. Little bowl here. Everything that's, you can see it started to cook the kingfish. You can see it's gone from being that kind of like shiny, slightly pink to having like little bits of white, almost as if it's been seared.
Yep.
Alright, and now just build a little bit of a base. A strong foundation for your dish. And just alternating, making sure your customers or your guests can see a bit of everything that's in the dish, bit of kingfish, bit of grapefruit. Building it up. Save like the nicest bit of kingfish for the top, as it is a kingfish dish. You want people to see that.
Yep.
And then don't want too much, but just a little bit of dressing to give it some gloss. But you don't want it to pull too much down the bottom. We'll get some of our roe. Let this kind of naturally fall all over the dish, so you get little pops of kind of fresh saltiness whilst you're eating.
Cool.
Quite like this dish because it's all different tones of the same color, like it's all kind of orangey and pink, instead of having too much contrasting. I think it's very old school kind of plating where you have that whole like green and red and then build up these little crisps on the side here. And then that's for people to kind of grab one and put a little bit on and eat that, and you get the combination of all the textures.
Perfect. Chef, how? Can you show us?
Probably use it.
What's the difficult part, huh?
A fork or just
Yeah.
a little bit on there. Get a little bit of everything. A bit of grapefruit, kingfish, roe on your chip.
Nice. Can you
Thank
show?
you.
Mm.
And that's our Kingfish Ceviche with smoked buttermilk, little crispy potatoes, and Yarra Valley salmon roe.
Cool.
Thank you.